1999. What a victory for the Sri Lankans. A fantastic effort.
Here's the man who's been largely responsible for us over the last.
The first World Cup, that is a thrill of joy, and England.
Welcome to the Match Point and welcome to our brand new set. Happy New Year to all of you. 71 years, 31 series, 98 tests, 272 players been involved and 29 captains and men in blue have done it. The history has been created. Virat Kohli and men in blue have beat Australia in their den and they became the first ever Asian team in the history of cricket to beat Australia in Australia over the years span of more than 100 years. And this is the history what Virat Kohli and their team has done, while their neighbors have been beaten convincingly by the Springboks in their home, Cape Town, after being beaten in the home in Abu Dhabi and Dubai by the Kiwis, by then neighbors of the Springboks, and now Springboks have beaten Pakistan 2-0 in the series to take an inaccessible lead. So after this defeat, what Sarfaraz Ahmed is saying, Sarfaraz Ahmed has been saying, and he has been blaming the bowlers. Pakistan skipper believes that still pace is the champion and pace does matter when Pakistan team plays into the action, because over the decades when Pakistan team has won the matches with their pace, Sarfaraz Ahmed, the skipper of the Pakistan team, is not at all comfortable along with the pace battery of Pakistan, and he is saying that you cannot win matches in these grounds, whether it's a Cape Town, Newlands, Johannesburg or any other ground, without the pace battery and without generating above 140 km, because Sarfaraz was little anxious about his fast bowlers and saying that the fast bowlers are not generating pace over 132 kilometers, while the opposition, they were creating the pace and they were generating the pace at the average above 140 and at least 138. So might be this could have been factor into his mind, but anyhow, right now Pakistan is in the back foot and the third match has to be played, but that will be only a paper filler for the Pakistan as they have lost the series against Springboks. Junaid Khan has been left out of the ODI squad. ODI names have been released and Junaid Khan is not included in that team against South Africa. BPL franchises, one of the BPL franchises, after listening this, they said thank you very much. Junaid Khan is not included in the Pakistan ODI squad, but he is the part of the BPL, Bangladesh Premier League. Khulna Titans have picked Junaid Khan against, just like they believe that he is their trump card against the opposition in the current league. Then another player from the team is a big news, headline news for all of you, that the Pakistan's key striker and Islamabad United key striker who has made them won the last championship, Asif Ali, when he is creating room for himself and for Pakistan or for Islamabad United, he is a very important player in the third power play. Who will hit the third power play when the game will reach to the later stages, God knows. But he has been dropped. Asif Ali has been left out of squad after Junaid Khan, and Asif will not be a part. not only he has the potential to hit sixes, but also my firm belief that he is a game changer. And already the experts like Ramiz Raja and various other players, they have told in the news, and they have been speaking vigorously against the chief selector in Zawam's options, and they said this is a huge mistake and default, but time will tell what the decision was. And he is also having the don't forget that this man is having the huge experience of playing in the South African leagues already on these very grounds, and he is knowing the bouncy tracks, and he is knowing how to pull the shots on these pitches. Anyhow, and just jumping from the Bangladesh Premier League news, we will jump to the Big Bash League, which has been happening in Australia, where Team India is beating Australia everywhere. Team Australia is down, and Team India is surpassing Team Australia. One of the rare feats which we are seeing as an Asian fan, one Asian team, the wonders they are doing in the Australia has been never done successfully in the last 71 years. But kya hua ji, one more Pakistani is doing wonder over here. And last time I told you, Usman Khan Shinwari, who was a part of the Pakistan team before, but right now not the part of the Pakistan current squad, he is playing from the Melbourne Renegades, the same league and the same department from where once Shane Warne was playing, and the Ben McDermott, one of the Australian stars, he is also the part of this league. He grabbed 3 wickets by giving only miserly 16 runs from the last 4 overs, and they won the match because of his bowling. Pakistan have announced the 16-member squad for the 5-match ODI series I told you previously. So here is the cue card for the Pakistan ODI squad, which has been announced under a lot of controversies. Again, the skipper Sarfaraz Ahmed leading the team, and now you can see on the card Babar Azam after the Sarfaraz Ahmed captain, wicket-keeper Fahim Ashraf, Fakhr Zaman, Hassan Ali, Hussain Talat, Imad Wasim is back in the squad, Imamul Haq, Muhammad Amir, Muhammad Hafiz is back in the house after taking the retirement from the test circuit, and now he is ready to play the limited over matches. And then Mohammad Rizwan, the wicket-keeper, Shadab Khan, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Shan Masood, Shoaib Malik and Usman Khan Shinwari. So what Wasim Akram, the batting guru, the bowling guru and the all-rounder guru in guru, Pakistan ka guru Wasim Akram, what he is saying, he is absolutely happy on India's performance, and he is saying this is something very amazing. And a lot of people are saying, critics are saying that this Indian team won because of the Australian legends' absence in their team, and they are saying that the Australian team were not having the likes of David Warner, having the Smith, but even then, don't forget that the Pakistan team and the Team India, Sunil Gavaskar's India and Imran Khan's Pakistan, were having the famous tour of 1984-85 when the Keem Hughes side were playing the rebel sides, and then the Ellen Border took on the new players like the Terry Alderman, Carl Rackman, Merv Hughes in the team, and Stephen Vaughan new in the team, and they have been beaten convincingly by the same weak Australian side in their home. There is no other team else than England which was beating in the past convincingly Aussies in their home. Might be you are interested to know that who beat Australia when in Australia. Don't forget, this is match point. I will tell you later on who beat Australia when, and when Australia was beating marginally and when Australia was beating convincingly. Anyhow, Wasim Akram having a full praise for Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvi and Ishant Sharma, and he is very happy to see the magnificent pace generated by them, and they said they won the series. That was very exciting, and this is a massive deal in the cricketing world. South African captain Faf du Plessis has been banned for the one match and has been fined for the 20% of his match fee because of the slow overrun rate, and this is what you can understand now, that the tension was mounting on the Sarfaraz head. That's why the poor decision of having the spinner in the first test was because of this factor, because already Sarfaraz was banned in the previous years for having the 4 pacers, and this time it was Faf du Plessis who was fined, and he will be skipping the next match. His players have been fined also 10% of their match fee for a slow over run rate in the South Africa's innings, and in the same victory of 9-wicket win versus the Pakistan Shaheens in the Cape Town. Fantastic to see. The next news is regarding the football stars. I would have told you, and you will be jumping out of your seats. The Karachiites, the Lyari guys who are seeing the show, they will be exciting to know that the 2 of the legends are in the Pakistan. Yup, you are absolutely right if you are knowing this. There's Kaká, the Brazilian superstar and the hero of the game in the 2002 World Cup, along with Rivaldo and Ronaldo and Babito, the famous trio. The Kaká is right now, he is in Pakistan, and Luis Figo, the Portuguese star, unfortunately he couldn't win any European Cup or any other World Cup, but he was the one who laid the foundation for Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal, and today Portugal, where they have reached, it is because of the Deco, Figo and these big giants from the Portuguese football nation, and they are over here in the Pakistan to promote the World Soccer Stars 2019 tournament you can see in our pics. So let's move about from the football. We will be jumping back to the cricket, and from the leagues to leagues, from the BBL, from the Bangladesh Premier League, from the Australian League. Now we will jump back to our league. What is our league? Pakistan Super League, PSL Superstars and PSL Rising Stars in the Lahore Qalandars, Salman Irshad and another Qalandar, Haris Rahouf. They are very excited. The Qalandars are right now in Australia. They were practicing and they have got the chance to bowl the batting Mysterio Virat Kohli in the nets, and you will be seeing in the videos how they were bowling in the nets and how was this amazing experience to bowl against the one of the best in the business right now. So this bowling have been done in the Sydney in the pitch before the preparation of their final test for the Indian team, and I hope they would have learned, and this will go a long way, as Salman Irshad is saying. So before closing the headlines and going to the break, it's a time for the killer factor. So this killer factor is regarding one of the Aussies space battery, Peter Siddle, who is back in the Australian squad. He has been named in the Australian squad, which is about to begin the matches against the Men in Blue, who is the team to watch currently in Australia. But this is not the killer factor that Peter Siddle is included in the team. But of course, this is the killer factor that Peter Siddle has been back in the Australian squad since 2010, those long old days, 2010, and the month was November. November 2010 was the last time when Peter Siddle was in the Australian squad. And if I count on the fingers who was in that team, might be you can recall. I'm unable to recall right now, but Peter Siddle in between missed 169 ODIs till current date without the Australian team, and he will be back with the Australian team at the match number 170th from where he left the Australian team back in 2010. In the 133 years history of international cricket, this is the longest comeback of any international player. This is a world record and also an Australian longest record to come back in the team, having an amazing performance. And the one most super topping for this killer factor, what is that? That team which played with Peter Siddle in 2010 in the month of November, 9 players have got retired from the international cricket, and out of 9, 8 have been not playing even the leagues, have left the league. So Peter Siddle is only old horse, and who knows, might be the trump card to win against Men in Blues when the Kangaroos will see and catch Men in Blue. We will take a short break. You are watching Match Point and I will be right back. Welcome back on the show. Welcome back on the Match Point. We are discussing the Pakistan's loss versus South Africa, and of course the men in blue Indian win over Australian soil, the first ever Asian team. So we will discuss them one by one. What was happening in South Africa? First we will jump to the South Africa, but before jumping to the South Africa, I must tell you about Junaid Khan. The headline which I will give you, that Junaid Khan has been left out of the ODI squad, of declaring him unfit, and at the same time Bangladesh Premier League saying thank you very much and keeping him in the team. They said, the chief selector said that Junaid is not fit enough to join the Pakistan team in South Africa. His last 13 ODIs, if I pick, 93.5 overs, 8 maidens, 407 runs conceded, 18 wickets he took at the mere economy of 18.34. Would you believe that the chief selector is saying that he is not fit and he is not capable of playing in Australia? Junaid Khan was not picked in the ODIs because of the fitness concerns. But who cares for the selection committee? Selection committee has already put the doubts in our mind and doubts in the mind of a lot of fans, because previously saying that Fakhr is fit, Shadab Khan is fit, and then the drastic decisions which are making the Pakistan conditions at their worst. This is because of this selection committee and this new PCB committee and the chief selector Inzamamul Haq, who is the culprit in this squad picking. You can see on lot of channels where the Pakistani stars and the Pakistan old cricketers and the legends, they are being openly saying up and they are criticizing this selection issue which has been now coming openly in the media for the ODI selection. Before the Junaid Khan's fitness, he was, just imagine, he was involved in the national 2020 cricket with no signs of any fitness problem, and he was bowling to his full peak when even I was observing him and I was seeing in this National T20 Cup. And then the second, you just jump on the Asif Ali. Asif Ali, whom I told you about his details, that he is playing from the Islamabad United. He is the Dean Jones' favourite man. He changed the game for them in the last season when they won the trophy in the crunch matches against the Gladiators, against the skipper Sarfraz team and the Moin Khan's team. That was the trump card where Dean Jones used to say, and also Wasim Akram used to say when he was the part of the United. But then dropping him and saying him that he is inconsistent. Looks like to me that the chief selector and his squad, sorry to say, they are insane. They are misunderstanding his violent nature. I mean, if they are saying that he is scoring less and vigorously, this is the part of his job for which he has been assigned in the Islamabad United and the Pakistan team, as I described earlier, has to play in the third power play. Because if he will not be violent in the third power play, then there is no use of number 5 and number 6 at that position. The same which Michael Bevan was doing for the Australia back in the early 2000 era, and even until 2007 he was doing for them. So this is what they are confusing, and they need to make clear that what is the role of Asif Ali. Asif Ali's role is not to anchor the innings for Pakistan. His role is to flare up and slogging in the third power play and the 6 down, 5 downs when you are having only 2 to 3 overs. There is no need of there to have a concentration or have an anchor role if chief selector is having this in the mind. 4 scores of 30 plus in the last 8 innings as a hitter. I think it is fair enough to prove him and prove him that he is consistently performing better in this very format when it comes to the limited over cricket. Anyhow, we will jump quickly to the Pakistan versus South Africa. What's happening? Actually, not what's happening, what happened. Because now what's happening is a paperwork. Pakistan has lost the series in the away tour, and Pakistan was already struggling in their own home, and now obviously the team morale was already down after the defeat by the hand of Kiwis about 18 days ago. Within the 18 days time, they have been beaten convincingly again, but this time not by the Kiwis but by their neighbor Springboks. And in Pakistan's away game, Pakistan now 2 down versus South Africa. Horrible batting display by the Pakistan. Imam-ul Haq, the opener, the last 9 innings, if I pick for the Imam-ul Haq, 8, 6, 0, 27, 12, 6, 27, total runs of 144 at the mere average of 16. Imam-ul Haq's 9 test scores, if I go now outside UAE, not in the Pakistan's alternate home, 7, 18, 4, 34, 0, 27, 57, 0, 6, 8. So mashallah say, Imam is improving now outside the home and in the away games, but this has been a serious blow for Pakistan, I'm not kidding. Because he failed to provide anchor to Pakistan. Consistently he has failed to perform. Azhar Ali, his partner, he's a senior guy, he's a senior partner and is very good in this format, but even Azhar Ali was struggling. He was afraid to face the South African bowlers Rabada and Philander, and might be in their mind it would have been lagging somewhere that Hafiz has taken the decision of departing Pakistan test team. The fears of Dale Steyn or the fears of the Springboks or the fears of Cape Town, Johannesburg, Newtown, whatever was in his mind, but already one player was back home and already declared. So might be the pressure shifting to the next man or to the youngsters, that if Hafiz is not performing and doesn't want to face the pace battery of Springboks, so why do I? So this factor obviously was not a good sign from Hafiz. He should, if he wants the retirement, he should have taken after the Springbok tours, South African tour, not before the South African tour. Anyways, now if you see Aden Markram, the South African star and the Hall of Fame, he opened the innings for South Africa. As we are discussing, Imam, that's why I'm telling you, he opened for the South Africa in the Under-19 Cricket World Cup final in the 2014. And the same time, Imam-ul Haq also opened the batting for Team Pakistan, the Under-19, then the Under-19 teams back in 2014 for Pakistan. Since then, Markram developed himself into the world-class batsman, while Imam techniques remains the same, and at the same poor Imam is struggling. And don't forget, that is the same World Cup where Rabada hit the stage and he took the wickets and he played a vital role in the South Africans' victory. And right now in the today's world, he is having a 159 test wickets in his feather. So this is the difference, how champions have been created. This is the story of champions, how they have been created. PCB has not organized any Pakistan A tour, which I was seeing for the South Africa, since 2003. This is also a big dilemma, that why you are unable to produce the players. Indian team consistently playing IPL, leave IPL, still they are playing Ranji Trophy. Still they are playing the first class game. The structure of the Indian cricket is better than the Pakistan cricket, and yet they are producing, and many more Pujaras yet to be produced from them, from the same Ranji trophies. Prithvi Shaw and lot other names you pick, and they are coming from the same trophies, and Pakistan is having no Pakistan A games have been happening in the Pakistan, and that's why Pakistan has been struggling in the South African conditions. Pakistan has been playing international cricket for now over 66 years, and there have been A tours. If you say the A tours, there has been only one major A tour which has been done in the Pakistan cricket. 13 out of 16 players in the Pakistan squad were not having the experience of playing in the South Africa, and they were exposed to this cruel field, which we say the South Africa, the grounds of Cape Town and Johannesburg, and pressure was mounting on these guys. One of the reasons Pakistani batsmen are struggling, the last time when Pakistan did the A tour, that was 2009 back in Australia, And South Africa, only there is a one time in the 66 years history when Pakistan team visited Pakistan A team visited South Africa, and that was back in 2003. And before that, Pakistan team, the first time when went for the Pakistan A for the tour, that was 1998 when Pakistan went to the New Zealand, to the Kiwis, to their home. And these are the only times, 3 times when Pakistan A played against them. Since the end of October 2016, Pakistan has played now 21 matches and they have lost 14 out of 21 games. South Africa last 7 home series. If contrary to that, I pick them 1-1-1. All 7 series have been convincingly won by them, and they have defeated their opponents, whoever they were, and among them was also the Virat Kohli's Team India, who were beaten in the South Africa by the South Africa in their home. Sarfaraz said that if we had played 2 or more practice games, the results would have been different. Might be Sarfaraz is right that he was not given the time to acclimatize to the weather and the South African conditions, but still there is no excuse. He says the position would have different. Pakistan horrible touch with the batting and disastrous batting collapses was notable in this very series in Pakistan versus South Africa. If I go back to the past and tell you, you will be surprised that since Misbahul Haq and Yunus Khan has left Pakistan, those days they have batted 22 times in the test cricket. In 11 of those innings, the scores without them, the score would have 177, 181, 190, 156 in UAE, 227, 177. These last 3 scores are in the UAE: 174, 134, 262, 248 and 114. These are the scores when Misbah and Yunus departed, and what Pakistan team is doing. Pakistan's batting woes in the South Africa are not new. They are well known. But the Pakistan's poor performance on the tour is down because of their batting, that they failed to reach 300 in the 4th innings across 2 tests. They never touched the 300. But it hit a new low in the Cape Town when they made a new record that Pakistan team became the first ever team in the history of competitive test cricket where one team failed to reach and touch 200 runs in the 4 consecutive games. This was the blow for the Pakistan team. What bowlers will do? Bowlers cannot defend so low targets. Even Wasim Akram or Walker Yunus or Shoaib Akhtar or the mighty Imran Khan or the Pakistan Prime Minister even cannot save all the games for Pakistan and so less totals, because at least you give some fighting total to your bowlers to fight. They were bowled out for sub 200 totals in the 2 innings in Centurions and the last innings in Abu Dhabi. And Pakistan cricket can only do well if they figure out why Babar Azam, Imamul Haq, Sami Aslam and 3 of your best under 19 batsmen in the world, they are having scored only 1 century in 142 games. Babar Azam managed to make his 1 maiden ton after the 17 games, while his competitors Aden Markram, Virat Kohli are having the piles of century in every game. So discussion will continue, but I got the signal for a break. We will have to go for a quick short break. When I will come back from the break, we will start right from here. Pakistan versus South Africa. You are watching Match Point. Welcome back after the break. So we were discussing the Pakistan's failure in the South Africa, and lot of criticism was also going on the Fawad Alam. A huge debacle on every channel is going on. Why Fawad is not the part of the Pakistan team? And other man who is the man in form in the local cricket, he is improving, he is scoring even at the late age, he is scoring in the first class, and he is Abid Ali. His name has been taken again and again. So the same discussion, why Fawad Ali, why Abid Ali could not be a part of the Pakistan team. So might be वो आंखों का तारा नहीं थे for the chief selector Inzamamul Haq. he is in the best capacity to describe why Imam and the other members who are not performing are in the team, and why these guys have not been given the chance. Even Fawad is performing consistently back in the Scotland, back in the UK. The season which he was spending last year, 2018, he was performing well. It was all in front of us, and Abid having a brilliant form in the first class cricket. If this was not the criteria of keeping them in the team, that what was the criteria? Why Fawad and Abid have been kept out? The nation wants the answer. Everyone is asking after this South African heavy defeat by the hand of the South Africa via 9 wickets. And then if you say Shan Masood is in, Shan is performing. Shan is not performed initially, but then in the one match he performing, showing that his technique is little bit better, but still keeping in mind that Shan Masood is having no PSL matches. He has never played any Pakistan Super League match. Imamul Haq, no PSL ever. No Pakistan Super League has ever been picking Imamul Haq, but still he is the part of the limited format. Why? If he would have been having a good batting track, he would have been definitely be a part of some of the Pakistan's franchise in the most popular PSL, but he is not the part of any PSL. Azhar Ali, he was playing in the Pakistan Super League 1, but he was not picked up in the drafting. He was not the part of the 2, and he was not the part of the 3 with the Lahore Qalandars. Asad and Haris, they are sharing between 6 matches in the 2 PSL seasons, and yet they are the part of the Pakistan team. So the criteria of picking, that either you are seeing the T20 league fashion, or either you are seeing the first class structure, the A games, or the departmental games. So it is pretty much vague what Mickey Arthur and what Inzamamul Haq are thinking. Recently, about 1 week back, I was in one buffet, and I was just on my food when one of men just came behind me, and I was involved in eating, and I was busy seeing the food stuff, and I was not knowing that he wants to talk to me. And he suddenly came to me and he said that Dr. Saab, team ka kya kiya, ye kya kar rahe hain? He was interested to know that what's happening with the Pakistan team, what's the criteria of Pakistan batsmen. Are they able to make 100 score? Can they make an individual century? He was very doubtful. He was asking me. So I gave him only one answer. I said, as you are ignorant as much as I'm ignorant about this poor Pakistan batting lineup, as much as he was not knowing, as long as I'm not knowing, even Mickey and the chief selector, they are not knowing what's happening with the Pakistan team. But I replied him that one strange thing I have seen in the Pakistan team. Pakistan team, if you keep your openers Imam and Fakhr at number 9 and number 10, right? And if you pick Shaheen Shah Afridi and Abbas at number 1 and number 2, they will play the same game. There is no top order, there is no middle order, there is no lower order. But what's that? What's there? There's only Mickey order. This is what I told him, and I'm telling you. So there is a Mickey order in the Pakistan team until we will finalize that how to rule out this Mickey order. Pakistan is unable to create the proper opening, the top order, middle order and the lower order. So this is the dilemma of Pakistan cricket. Anyhow, coming back to the Pakistan had only one warm-up game in the Benoi against the South African 11, Invitation 11, which they have won by 6 wickets. But Sarfraz still believes that one game was not enough to come back in the form for the team Pakistan. And he is thinking that if they have played 2 or more games, it would have been better for the Pakistan team, because I think he is comparing right to the English tour when last time he captained Pakistan after the Misbah-ul Haq. So he took the team and they played the 2 games, the result came into their favor. So I think Sarfraz is making some hypothesis to relate these games to them. And Sarfraz then also told that in 2016 he was saying that same way when they went to the Somerset, the county of Ian Botham, and the Surrey, the county of Waqar Yunus and Alex Stewart, the 1992 English wicketkeeper. The famous counties, Pakistan had 2 tours and with the 2 counties, and then Pakistan are having the solid partnership, and Pakistan played brilliantly in England. So Sarfraz was saying that at least 2 matches needed to create your rhythm, and position would have been different. So Pakistan now when played 2 practice games in England, previously in the Misbah's time and in the 2016 tour, and also again in the 2016 to 18 tour when they went under Captain Sarfraz Ahmed, and they both time managed to draw. 2016 they draw 2-2, and at the time of Sarfraz they drew 1-1, and they won the famous match of Lords. Lords is meant to be the Pakistan's ground in the both destinations. I was saying to the fans and the Pakistan team fans that whenever Pakistan is going away from London, either in Edgbaston, either in Manchester, Pakistan has been beaten, and Pakistan coming back to the London, either in Oval, either in Lords, Pakistan has been winning. And same happened, Team Pakistan came back to the London from Edgbaston and they won the game. The famous ground of Oval, where also they won the championship. They won the 2009 World Cup T20. And again they winning the Champions Trophy also in those lucky grounds. Now there was 18 days gap, as I told you in the headline, when the Pakistan last played against New Zealand in Abu Dhabi. They were already under stress when Kane Williamson's team unbelievably shattered them, and they needed, with the 7 wickets they needed only 30 or 25 runs, and they were unable to manage that. And the senior player Azhar Ali on the other end, with his 50 all the way, he was watching the scenario that what's happening, and he failed to achieve the target even with his presence. He was failed to rotate the tail along with him. I still remember and very angry on that criminal shot which was played by the Yasir Shah at that critical moment when Pakistan needed absolutely the runs and the no rubbish shots, and Pakistan lost the match against Kiwis, and Kiwis making the history after 1969 and beating Pakistan in the desert in their alternate home and registering their first ever victory in the last 4 decades. Kevin Pietersen, after the Sarfraz Ahmed, also is showing some sympathies to Pakistan. He is saying that it is not easy to bat on these pitches all the way, acclimatizing the pitches when you were coming from the subcontinent. He is saying, I agree that Pakistan team was given very less time, only 18 days. This is not fair and not enough to acclimatize. Difficult place for the tourists, and Pietersen still believes that the lack of experience of the South African condition is the major debacle of the Pakistan's downfall, and they are unable to put the fighting totals for the opposition. And at the same time, Kevin KP said that still for the English team, for us and for the Springboks, for the Aussies, if you say go to the subcontinent pitches in the Sri Lanka, in Colombo, in New Delhi, in Mumbai, we were suffering like the same and might be more worse than that. And after, if someone will say me, just arriving from an aeroplane and just play a match, this is a disaster. Should have been ruled out by the ICC, or the board should have had some suggestions to settle down this position. Pietersen, on the other hand, was also impressed by the South African opener, whom I told you was the hero of the Under-14 Cricket World Cup in 2014, Adrian Markram. He told that he scored 78 in the first innings in the Cape Town. Brilliant batsman, and he praised his strategies and technique to play the Pakistani pacers. He said that he was brilliantly playing Mohammad Abbas, knowing cleverly that Abbas is not having the pace. He cannot generate the pace, and he was even not generating the bounce from these pitches. And there was only one way to play Abbas, who was the most successful bowler in the last games and the last series of the Pakistan, most wicket getter from the fast bowling side from the Pakistan, but they were having a technique. Adrian Markram was playing all the time on the front foot. He was not keeping him back just to avoid the LBWO. So he was saying that this is what the clever cricket, and this is how you create good from great. Not the good batsman, the great batsman. This is the line you draw, that why Imam is not performing, Azhar is not performing, why Markram, young Markram is performing. So this is the one. He was playing like this. He was minimizing his chances of trapping LBW against the Pakistani pacers. He was a smart cricketer, clever cricketer, and clever in this procedure. And when Pakistan turn was on, did you see any Pakistani batsman doing this to Philander, who was the average pace bowler if you compare with the Pakistani greats, and should not have been difficulty for the Pakistan batsmen to face him. Here, if you give the game to the Pujara and the Virat Kohli, and we will see how they will deal with the Philander. He is an average bowler, but Pakistani bowlers were unable to cope with the pace of Philander. And Abbas, if you see, very economical bowler over throughout his career, and last year he conceded the economy rate of 2.27 in the test. But the clever South African batsmen along with Markram were manipulating Abbas around the corners. Even though he took the wickets, but even then they were manipulating him around the ground. He was unable to penetrate against them. He played really good, but this is the problem, that was he playing good around the world at every corner, outside the subcontinent, outside the alternate home? No. So that's what you need to adopt, and Pakistan was not doing. Big dilemma, that land of fast bowlers unable to achieve the pace. This was the big factor. Pakistan have won only 2 tests in South Africa, both due to the extreme pace of Shoaib Akhtar. If I go back in the past, Durban back in the 1998 and Port of Elizabeth back in 2007. Both games were won because of the fierce pace battery, including Shoaib Akhtar, and Shoaib Akhtar single-handedly bundled South Africa out of both games. Those are the good old days, but today our pacers are even unable to generate 130 kilometer in a single match. So this is the dilemma for the Pakistans. So we will just continue this discussion, but we will have to take a short break, and when I will come back from a break, we will discussing little bit of India versus South Africa. We will jump quickly to the India versus Australia before folding the show. You are watching Match Point. You can follow me on the Greatest Empire USA Facebook and YouTube page. Keep watching Match Point. I will be right back. Welcome back after the break. So we were discussing Pakistan versus South Africa, and of course we will go to the India versus Australia. Men in blue beating Australia in their den for the first ever time in the history of cricket. So quickly from where we left the show before the break. So Pakistan is focusing, what do I believe, on the T20 cricket, and the same thing Australia is doing. That's why Australia is also struggling. Australia was the team who was once playing the scientific cricket, but now they have more concentration on the BBL and on the T20 leagues. But at least I will vote Pakistan better than the Australia, because at least Pakistan is doing better in that format. Pakistan is convincingly beating the opponents at every ground, and that for very format, and Australia is even failed to beat in that format also their oppositions most of the time. So still Pakistan is the best. Keep your hopes alive. Pakistan was playing with a Yasir in the Centurion, the game before the Cape Town, and that Mickey Arthur says, when I was reading the article, that was the huge mistake to play with a Yasir. They misread the pitch and they needed the 4th pacer, and he was willing, Mickey was feeling, if time would have go back in the past, he would have picked Fahim Ashraf. Why Fahim Ashraf? I will tell you why it was in the Mickey's mind, because he's giving him a 4th seamer, and both South Africa and Pakistan were playing with the 3 seamers and 1 spinners in the first test, and then the slow bowlers were hardly required in the game. You can see the failure of the spin bowlers, that Kashaf Maharaj also was failing from the South African side, and Yasir Shah, their master spinner, who is the fastest to get the 200 wickets and who has virtually broken out lot of old English records and the cricket records, was failed to impress on the South African wickets. Yasir bowled 11 overs and Kashaf 14, and Pakistan have 5 pacers, Abbas Amir, Fahim, Hassan Ali and Shaheen Afridi. 16-member squad, and Abbas was unfortunately not available. He was available in second match, but still result was the same. But Pakistan rhythm Pakistan was not getting. Even Hassan Ali was included and then Hassan Ali was dropped, but a part of the Hassan Ali ouster and the Abbas was in, result was the same. Natija wahi ढाक के तीन पात. Fahim Ashraf was the only option as a fourth seamer, which again Mickey, even knowingly that he is wanting to try Fahim Ashraf, but he couldn't do that. I don't know, it was a team decision, it was a chief selector decision, or it was a coach decision, but they couldn't pick him like that. Pakistan's both win, if you remember, in the UAE outside UAE, Ireland in the Malahide, and then versus England at Lords, came with the four seamers when Fahim Ashraf was there. Fahim, left-handed, was scoring crucial 83 on Malahide, if you remember, and then at the Lords he was making 37 runs down the order when it was needed at the number 5, number 6 to anchor the innings and to sail Pakistan's ship to the coast, and that was Fahim Ashraf was doing. But I think what was ringing in the Sarfaraz head, what I told you, that he was afraid of that poor run rate history. Already 3 times he was fined for the slow over run rate. So I think this was in Sarfaraz's mind to avoid the fourth seamer, because he was knowing that if the fourth seamer is there is a must fine, and that's why he wanted to include the one spinner in the side, and that's why that joke was trolling. We were listening on the, nowadays cameras are very smart and the speakers are very smart. Azhar Ali was going to ball and Sarfaraz was shouting, jaldi kar le Malcolm Marshall. So and he was just annoyed by the a long run up of Azhar Ali, and he was screaming at him. So that's why this thing was ringing in his ear, and decision must have been affected. And second test in the Cape Town came, again a very strong decision. They couldn't keep Yasir Shah out. What was the reason? Cape Town is the pitch which is given chances to the spinners to spin the game, but unfortunately Pakistan couldn't do this. If you remember the old game in the time of Misbahul Haq, when Pakistan reached over here, Yasir Shah, before Yasir Shah, here the spinner along with the Misbahul Haq, Saeed Ajmal, took 10 wickets in the Cape Town, and later on in the press conference Misbah was regretting that why he didn't include Abdul Rahman, the second spinner. So this was the thing which was ringing in his ears, and that's why Yasir Shah was again included, but again the decision was not good. After the so much good phase, Yasir was able to take only 1 wicket in these games. Time for the trivia factor. Feu du Plessis, if I talk about the South African skipper, he became the first captain to score a century after scoring the duck and after bagging a pair in the previous test. South African batsmen who scored century immediately after the pair in the test, they are Jackie McGlew versus England back in 1955, Jacques Kallis versus Sri Lanka in 2012, and now du Plessis versus Pakistan after bagging a pair and then huge century and the match winning knock. And if we go to another trivia, you will be enjoying to know this, that on this very day in 1992, a very sad day to lot of Pakistani fans, back in the 1992, this was the last day of one of the longest career and most successful career in the history of Pakistan cricket, when Pakistan's Prime Minister career, which began in 1971, taking 362 wickets, including the famous spell against India in 1980 against the Sunil Gavaskar, Vishwanath and the batting legends of India, and taking 40 wickets in that one series, which is still a record for the Pakistan against India, and hitting the 6 test centuries. He was just on this very day, he left the cricket world and he left the cricket and test cricket for Pakistan. When Imran retired from the test cricket on this very day back in the 92, despite being 39 years old, he was ranked 15th in the test batsman ranking and 7th in the test bowling rankings. And very interesting trivia on the topping of this, and on the top of that, I want to tell you that why Imran was ranked this, because right when Imran left the cricket, next day the ranking was introduced in the ICC. That was the last day when the cricket was played without the ranking, when same like the tennis phenomena and the other top seed, 1 seed, 2 seed, the ranking has been started in the cricket. So quickly we need to jump from big one, India versus Australia. Congratulations to the India to become the first ever Asian team to win the test series in Australia. Huge achievement and another feather in the King's Kohli cap. Man of the series for India, 2 men, so it was men of the series. Their batting sensation, Pujara and Bumrah, the deadly Yorkers of Bumrah, the 2 game changers for India, which played a vital role in this Virat Kohli's team to spun the game away from Australia. Asian teams test records in Australia. If you are keen to know, I brought it for you. India, they have played 12 games, they won 1, lost 8, drawn 3 before this, and Pakistan playing 12, winning 0, lost 9, draw 3. This is what I'm telling you about the series. And Sri Lanka played 6 series and they have also lost 0 series, but they are even unable to win a single game in the Australia continent. And Bangladesh playing 1 and the losing 1, a short history. Better luck, dude, next time. Visiting teams who won the series against Australia, as I told you at the beginning of the show, that I will take you to those countries who have beaten Australia. The magic of beating Australia. In Australia, England have done it record 13 times because they are frequently coming over here. They are one of the most frequent visitors since 133 years, who come every year to play the Ashes. And then the West Indian team back in the 1979-80 and 84-85 in the Viv Richards era, and 1988-89 Viv Richards, and the last time when they came under the Richie Richardson and the new and the young man Brian Lara was with them under the captaincy of Richie Richardson. They beat Australia in 92-93. So after the England, the most successful team was the West Indies, beating them 4 times, and then South Africa beating them 3 times in 2008, 12 and 16, while New Zealand have done it only 1 time under the feather of Sir Richard Headley in 1985-86 against the underdogs of Kim Hughes and the new Allan Border side. And India have done now 2018-29, becoming the first Asian team to achieve this amazing feat. India are the first team in last 30 years to enforce follow-on to Australia in Australia. Excellent work, I say, by the Virat Kohli and his company. Test centuries by the Indians, batting at number 3 in Australia. Chiteshwar Pujara is now at the 5 centuries, and all other people having a combined 6 centuries against Australia. 2 by the Mohinder Amarnath, 2 by the Lakshman, and 1 by the Dravid and the great Wingsarkar. Indian scoring 3 or more hundreds in the test series outside Asia. 4 at the top of the list is Gavaskar versus West Indies in 1970-71, but don't forget, on the top there is also a batting mystery of Virat Kohli is also having the 4 against Australia in 2018-19, while 3 for the Gavaskar in the 1977-78 series, 3 for the Dravid versus England in 2002, and then again 3 for the Dravid versus England in 2011. While if you want to know that whether Pakistani batsmen have done it ever or not, so I want to tell you that Mohammad Yusuf is the only man who have done it for Pakistan so far. Highest scores versus Australia in the last 4 years: 290 by Taylor, dismissed by Loin, 244 Cook not out, 205 Azhar Ali not out, and all other out. Pujara 202 and 193, every time dismissed by their spin mysterio Nathan Lyon, but unfortunately it could not favor Team Australia. Rishabh Pant, first Indian wicketkeeper to score test century in England, first Indian wicketkeeper to score test century in Australia. No test centuries scored by the other Indian wicketkeepers, including the likes of Mahendra Singh Dhoni or Syed Kirmani. Wicketkeepers in the Sina countries The rest of them Indian 0 and Rishabh Pant 2. Rishabh Pant, the first Indian wicketkeeper to score a test century against England last year, and he repeated the feat and get the highest score ever in the history of Indian cricket and Indian wicketkeeper versus Australia. In Australia, he is only 21 years of age and 9 test old, and he's showing that how strong is the replacement bench for the India. This shows the scientific days of Australia in the early 2000s, that why Australian cricket was strong. Hats off to Rishabh Pant. Centuries by the Indian batsman in the test in the SINA countries December 2011 onwards. All other Indians are having combined 10 centuries, and batting Mysterio Virat Kohli only having 10 centuries alone in his pocket. Fastest to get the 25 centuries. 68 is the fastest, the breadman. But in the modern era cricket, only one batting Mysterio Virat Kohli. 127 matches he took for this, while the Sachin Tendulkar taking 130, Gavaskar 138 and Hedden at 139. Quickly, I have to go to the end of the show. That a part of the exciting Boxing Day test and the end of the year 2018 is gone. I am talking about the legends and the centuries. Lot of them bagged a pair at the end of the 2018. Virat Kohli, Ford WC, Sarfaraz Ahmed, 3 exciting skippers got the duck. Pujara, the batting Mysterio, also getting the duck. Azhar Ali, Imam, Markram, these all also got the ducks in the 2018. Australia have not played a follow-on innings at home in the 30 years. The last instance before this when Australia played a follow-on game, that was back in the 1988 versus the England, versus the Graham Gooch and the Ian Botham's England in SCG, Sydney Cricket Ground, when they were enforced follow-on. And if you go anywhere outside Australia, 2005 was the last time against Trent Bridge against England when they were follow-on, and this is now the third time when Australia have been enforced follow-on. Kohli has not lost any of the 21 tosses when he won 21 tests when he won the toss. Same for the breadman in only 10 tests. Colin Cowdrey, 1 defeat in 17 tests. Du Plessis 1 in 14. Williamson 1 in 11. Colin Cowdrey is having only 1 defeat. One of the legends, Sir Colin Cowdrey from the English team. 3 of the 5 captains with lowest losing percentage after winning the test. Virat Kohli 0.00. Don Bradman 0.00. Sir Colin Cowdrey 5.88. And then Ford Du Plessis and Williamson at 7.14 and 9.01. Virat Kohli talked about those days, that about the winning the toss. He told about taking the captaincy from Mahendra Singh Dhoni, that this is the part I want to cherish, that when I win the toss, I don't want to lose the game. And that's why the combined these captains, if I tell you out of 48 games, if I say you about the Williamson, Du Plessis and the Kohli, about the 48 games combined, these 3 captains have played, and 2 times they have lost after winning the toss. But Virat Kohli with a 100% record.
Let's have a look on these pictures, and it will be reminding you and creating a nostalgia in your mind with Australia's retro kit. Yes, Australia is going to use the retro kit in the coming ODIs versus Team India. And this is reminding me of the 5 a.m. alarm ringing in my ears back in the 80s with a cup of tea and putting the TV on, Craig McDermott, Bruce Reid and Simon O'Donnell opening the bowling for Australia, and then the struggling Mohsin Khan, Qasim Umar, and suddenly the wickets falling for the Pakistan, and Javed Miandad coming to rescue Pakistan. And in the meantime, listening the great Richie Benaud voice with the same retro kit which Australia is wearing right now. Richie Benaud coming and saying what a marvelous day of cricket, and setting up the match for us, and throwing the mic to Bill Lawry and Chappell for the first stint of commentary.
At the end of the show, I have to wrap it with a killer factor. So it's a time of a killer factor. I have to close the show with this exciting factor. Justin Langer, who was a newly appointed coach of the Team Australia, has recently taken over from the Darren Lemon when he has resigned from the coaching seat along with the David Warner and the Steven Smith saga. Langer vowed to take Australia to the new heights, as when he was the part of the Australian team back in the late 90s and in the early 2000s. But this is not a killer factor. Interesting point is this, that this is the first official series for the Justin Langer along with the team Australia. So as a first series as a coach, he lost the series. A big time champion in his game along with the team Australia. This time he lost the feat. But this is not the killer factor. Killer factor is this, that this is his first chance with Team Australia as a coach. In the past, if I go back to 1991 and 1992 against the mighty West Indies of the Richie Richardson, Carl Hooper, Brian Charles Lara, he did debut against them in the 92. At that time, he also lost the game and Australia lost the series. In between the first game when Australia lost the series, and then 26 games which he played until his career 2006-2007, he never lost any series. That was the only time when he lost the series, when he was with the Australian squad. The record was otherwise 100%. And then with his coaching tenure, this is the first defeat. So we will see in the killer factor that how long his career can go like as a player career. So this was the end of the show. I hope you would have liked. When next time I will come, Pakistan would have finished the test, India would have started the ODI series, and Pakistan will be padding up for the ODI series, and we will see that whether Hafiz and the other company, Hossain Talat, who have reached South Africa, can they change the fate of the team Pakistan or not. Till then, Dr. Adnan says you goodbye from the studios. Take care and bye-bye. यार ये 2018 है, 2018 है, 2019, जसप्रीत बुमराह, इंडिया इज विनिंग बिकॉज ऑफ पेसर्स. पकड़ो यार, मुझे मारो मारो पकड़ के, मुझे यार यहाँ भेजो कहीं, मुझे क्या है यार, ये क्या है. एंड नाउ इट्स अ टाइम फॉर अ किलर फैक्टर. अबे मारना है. सो लॉट ऑफ ओहो, वेलकम बैक ही नहीं किया. तो ये आखिरी ब्रेक है ना. While the neighbors have been beaten consistently by another defeat. यार ये थोड़ा गलत तो नहीं बता दिया मैंने. 169 था, कितना था उसका? हाँ 169. करूँ जी शुरू.
Largely responsible for our goal.
The first World Cup, that is Australia's joy, and England